So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to our instructional design SIG. It's been a while since we had one of these sessions, so really looking forward to this one. And thanks for joining me today. I'm going to make sure that the presentation is up. Really tonight we're going to be talking about Vyond and all things, everything that's new with Vyond. So, and it's quite a lot of things that we have to cover tonight. So I'll just jump right into it. My goal for today, though, is to not use any filler words. So filler words like R's and ums. I know I've used quite a couple already, but or you knows, just trying to be a better speaker, I guess.
Sounds as if you have suffered through a Toastmasters meeting.
Yes. I'm a recovering addict
I hate
of
counting.
Toastmasters. To think there's someone at every meeting who's counting that. Okay, there you go again. All right, let's get into it. I have to be very forgiving of myself tonight. So we are A2D Fort Worth Mid-Cities. We have our SIGs, which are regular programs, which I know most of you are familiar with, so I'm not going to say a lot about that, but we do have a holiday party coming up in December. It's going to be in person at our regular location over here in Fort Worth, over here in Diamond Oaks, somewhere in Fort Worth. It's going to be an exciting one. And I think most of us on this call are going to be there anyway. So I'll just move on into the presentation. John, you're more than welcome to attend that.
I don't have much in the way of cowboy gear. I'm sorry. I do have the hat, though.
We will have props provided, I think. But so here's what we'll cover today. We'll do a quick overview of Vyond for anyone who's not too familiar with the program, and we'll then dive into some of the newer features of Vyond. So if you're just starting out in Vyond, you may not appreciate this workshop a lot because you haven't even explored what Vyond has to offer. This class is more designed for folks who have used Vyond and are looking to do a little bit more with it. So that's what the new features are about. But in either case, I know you find some useful information in this workshop. So I will jump over to Vyond. Sorry, I'm going to play one or two examples of the way that I've used Vyond just to make us appreciate the program a little bit better. So as you watch, I would ask that you take note of how the animation is used, the voice tonality and how it matches the characters and how that can even be enhanced. And in some cases, is a human voice better than AI? I'll leave it up to you to decide, but let's watch the first one. Do you have the sound?
Yes.
Hi, Rhonda. This is Carmen from Business Response. Is now a good time to talk about the contract renewal?
Hi, Carmen. Let me cut to the chase. I'm afraid we've decided to go in another direction.
I'm not following you exactly.
We found another vendor at better rates, and we've decided to go with them.
Well, thank you for explaining this situation. I'll consult with my manager. Maybe we could...
The contract is over, and there's nothing else you can do for Senecra right now.
But How could this possibly be?
Goodbye.
Stay calm. Stay calm. Call Vic. Call Vic. Maybe he can come up with something. Vic, I have some bad news. I was hoping that you may have some ideas on what we could do. I knew something like this was gonna happen the moment Jenny gave me this account. Ugh. Ugh. I never wanted this stupid sales job. They promised me training and bonuses and I got nothing but stress. I should have listened to myself.
Yeah. So what do we think?
Oh, that's fun. I love it.
Yeah. What do you love about it? Susan?
What's that?
Yeah, I said, what do you love about it? Can you say a little bit more about why you
Oh,
like it?
sure. Well, I got totally into the story, number one, but
Right.
I did like to have you see the split screen and to see their mouth move. That's to sync that with the words is really hard
Yeah.
for lots of software.
Awesome.
The voice sounded fairly credible as well. Was that the artificial voice, or did you have voice talent with you
No,
on
those were voiceover actors.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
as good as that is becoming, it's still pretty easy to pick out what's
yes.
artificial and not. But
Yes.
I think that really added to the quality. It was as Susan was saying, I got caught up in the story and felt so bad for the saleswoman there that
Right.
Right.
oh gee. Yeah, and the animation looked fairly smooth there with the how did you to what extent did you sync the lip movement with the actual words?
Yes, correct. So, and it's fairly easy to do in Vyond. We may go over some of that, how to do that. It's you just import the sound and just select which character is going to be talking, and that's it.
So are you saying Vyond will adjust the animation to be synchronized with the actual words?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
huge.
That is, he is, yes. We
Yes.
use cartoons and it does not do that.
Yes.
I would be
It's
happy if this had a black blob for
right.
a mouth. Did this,
Yes.
doesn't even do that.
Exactly. And that leads us to our second example.
Huh?
Is anyone familiar with Well Said Labs?
No, I've heard
Yeah.
of them.
Yes, Well Said Labs is an AI voice tool that's gaining popularity these days. It's really just it's a voice generation tool, and they did have a competition about 2 weeks ago, which it's a competition about Halloween, and I did participate in it and came second place. Even won a bit of money with this entry. Won $1,500, if you can believe it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
for
fast.
for a 2 minutes clip, it's not
Hey,
bad at all.
for
That
this
probably
post
took
here,
me.
the one we're gonna see?
Yes, that's the one we're going to see. And there were a
Awesome.
lot of great examples too, so I was quite surprised. But
Let me
on a
see.
personal note, though, it's a true story about my daughter, who is 5 years old. Started she started elementary school and started taking the bus, was getting bullied on the bus, which you will find out pretty soon. Yeah, and how I helped her navigate those waters. So I'll just go ahead and play it.
In the quiet town of Cloverfern, something special was about to happen. A Halloween story about family, courage, and standing up to bullies. Meet Georgina, a spirited girl who loved Halloween more than anything. But this year, something was bothering her: bullies on the school bus. Every day when Georgina got on the school bus, the older kids teased her and made her feel sad. Georgina would come home feeling sad instead of being excited about Halloween because of those bullies. One evening, Georgina told her dad, Sam, about the bullies. That's when Sam got an idea to help. Sam, who loved to make things fun, had an idea. He told Georgina to share a secret with the bullies, that her dad was a ninja. The next day, Georgina bravely told the bullies her secret, but they just laughed and didn't believe her. The bullies thought it was a kid's imagination and didn't believe her at all. Sam didn't give up. On Halloween, he dressed up as a ninja. When he picked up Georgina in his ninja costume at the bus stop, the bullies were amazed. They couldn't believe their eyes and were shocked. After that day, when Georgina got on the bus, the bullies were nice to her. They didn't want to see the ninja dad again. On Halloween night, Georgina and Sam celebrated with candy, laughter, and a victory over the bullies. As the full moon watched over Cloverfern, we remember that Halloween is a time for bravery, imagination, and standing up to bullies.
Okay. So what do we think?
Written by ChatGPT. Did
Yes, yes.
well, what kind of prompt did you give it?
Right. So she told her story, and I mean, I was part of the story, so I just, kind of typed in a bit of it. So just and it just, ChatGPT did a stand and knocked out the entire script. I didn't have to change anything, and just fed that into Wellside Labs and
Are
made
you
the
saying
animations.
that your daughter wrote the prompt?
No, she told her story about the bullies and everything, and she was a huge part of the animation as well, like describing who it was, and
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And then I'm still trying to get straight on
yes.
what did you enter into ChatGPT?
I can try to find it if we
Yeah,
want to be specific, but I'm sure it was something along the lines of little girl named Georgina getting bullied on the bus, and dad asked how to tell them he was a ninja, write a 2-minute script for this, and
was that a transcription of how your daughter described it?
yes,
Oh
exactly.
man, that is great.
Yeah, and that's what happened. So I actually dressed, and I can show you the photo of it. Yeah, it's really funny. Like I actually did dress up as a ninja on Halloween. If I can find that photo, I should have included that in my presentation. Tell you what, I posted it on Twitter, I believe. Okay, yeah, this is the actual photo of me as a ninja on Halloween, and her as, and Cloverfern is where we live. That's the stop. So yeah, it's a true story. Anyway, we have a lot to cover, so let's move on to Vyond. And I think why I demoed that video is also to kind of talk about the difference between AI voices and natural voices. I think AI voices have gotten better. I think one of the advantages, it's easier to edit. So if you make a mistake, you can always, or if there's an update, you can always go back and fix it. Yeah, but it's a little challenging, I know, for voiceover actors. There's a big campaign going on out there to hire natural. I forget what exactly it is, but keep working with your voiceover artist as much as you can. But just know that AI voices are an option. So for today, really wanted to talk about some of the features that are inside of Vyond. So let's take a look at the first one, which is the Shutterstock library. And what that is really just an integration of Shutterstock right inside of Vyond. So you don't need to have a Shutterstock account. You pretty much have access to Shutterstock if you have a Vyond subscription. And this wasn't the case before, so hopefully you appreciate that. And the way to get to Shutterstock is to, if I can find it myself, I think it's, so it's already open. You just need to look for, and the way I got to it was right here. So go to the Discover tab and just search for anything. So what would you like to search for? And this sessions are really designed to be interactive. So I'm hoping you come off mute and you know, just give suggestions where possible. Hi, Sharon. I'm sorry. I was talking when you got in. How you doing today?
Unmute, Sharon.
Yeah, so is there a preference for a background you would like to search for?
How about a ballroom?
A ballroom. Okay, perfect. And this goes for images.
Wow, 234 results.
All right, so where are those results? Okay, so they're down here, it seems. Yeah, so those are all the results for ballrooms. And I think it's got people in it, so maybe we want to say empty ballroom. Yeah.
All right.
And just like that, you have your ballroom, and you may need to do some adjustments just to make it fit better, and send it to the back, and maybe delete the existing one. So all of a sudden you have your human inside of the ballroom. But let's say we don't want a photo, we want an illustration, for example. That's also possible. So maybe add illustration to the end of it. And you can also set for video, so it's not just photos. So you can say dance and video and see what options there are. There's several options for those as well.
So if say you're going to a beach or a lakefront, you can see the water ripple as you're using that as background. Is that
Right.
right?
Exactly.
What I understand.
Exactly. You can do that too. But I think, so it's a style choice, right? So you even using photos and illustrations, they're not the same style, but it's a style choice. So if it's something you really want to do, then it makes sense to use a photo in place of what's available to you in Vyond. But just, you know, it's an option to do that now. So it's just one way that Vyond is innovating. And that's one thing I like about Vyond as well. They're constantly just coming up with new ideas for how to make the program even better and make it more useful for folks who maybe are new to animation or just or use it on a daily basis.
Do you have photo avatars or are they all cartoons?
They're all cartoons. So Vyond is pretty much there are different styles. There's the whiteboard and there's business friendly styles. So this is pretty much business friendly, and you have your whiteboard styles. But in all, they are illustrations, not actual humans. So yeah, so that's one other style, and then you have one more, which is the contemporary style. So this one. And you can almost see the difference between these styles, where one is more old school, you know, just whiteboard, stick figure looking, and the other one is a little more refined. You can see the features a little bit more. And the third one is more contemporary, where, and I can just take out the background so you can see it a little better. And they have similar sets of actions. So where you can, maybe you decide to have them all dancing. You can easily just do that by clicking and go into actions and just typing in dancing. And you can select any one of these, right? So you can have him dancing that way, you can have him dancing this way, and you can have her dancing this way, where if you preview it, and any of those actions can be applied across board to any one of them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it looks like that one has, you know, if you stretch it a little bit out, then it dances for much longer. So that's the timeline down here. For her, she has an entrance effect, which is a whiteboard hand. You may just remove that if you don't think it's necessary. One thing to keep in mind is the simpler, the better. So you want to keep things real simple and not too complicated for the learner. And as far as the next feature, so here's what Vyond used to look like. They used to be just, you know, set of dance steps. So let's say you want to give them that action of dancing. This will be all you have to work with. And it's kind of limited in a way where, you know, you only have 14 results for, I mean, that's quite a lot, but you know, there are more dance moves than just 14, right? So let's say, what's a dance move that's not listed here that you can think of?
You have ballet,
Okay, yeah, so ballet, right? Yeah, like
Nutcracker
that.
Suite. Can you have it do the Nutcracker Suite?
I don't think so, but so
Oh.
so that brings us to the next feature in Vyond. Now you can import your own dance moves into Vyond.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
way to do that is to import it as a video where, because really Vyond is just borrowing from it's borrowing from just stick figures, like the bones, the way they joined, it's doing it in a simplified way. It's just mimicking that movement. So I think the way that this has been brought about is to, you know, when you import your video, and I can show you that real quick. So all you need to do is go over here and click on sorry, let me back out to another video that I have prepared for this one. I'm just learning about the new features myself, so forgive me if I don't know where things are immediately. So here's a little bit of experimentation that I did as well for this part. So here's a video that I imported, and normally that dance move isn't listed for this one. So the way to get to it is to go to this folder right here. So let's say this video wasn't even there and you needed to use it, right? Let's say she was just standing. The way to generate action would be to click on that, and here's the new beta feature that they have, where you click on generate action and then you browse. So you have a video file saved somewhere. It needs to be 11 seconds or less, so not a lot to work with, but it's still helpful if you're working on a large project and you want to be very specific about what you do. So I have this saved in a folder, Alt-6, and I just select that, and it imports that video And this isn't one of those dance moves we have seen so far, right? It's a completely new move. So if you were going to record your own video, you would need to, stay in front of a camera and do the dancing and then upload it into Vyond, just like I'm doing right now. And it takes a while to process just because it's trying to find those points and trying to kind of sync things up.
Mhm.
Well, more to the perhaps a more practical application is say my client has a medical lab and we want to
Right.
show somebody putting on a personal protective
Yeah.
equipment. Could
Exactly.
something of that that's fairly complicated because they're turning around and they're pulling on gloves and they're taking
Yes.
off this and they're attaching.
Yes.
It would be able to handle something that complex.
Yes, I think so. That's a good example. So even though there may be some ways to do that already inside of Vyond, but if you just want to be very specific, then you would have to act it out and fit it into Vyond. So now when I apply this, it's going to do, I think, so let me bring back that video just so you can compare the movements and see if it matches. Not bad at all, right?
Right.
That is amazing. That is just
Yeah,
flat.
yeah, I love that.
Yes. So that wasn't possible before. Yeah, that wasn't possible before. So, it's a good thing to have. And so you did mention about putting on gloves. So one way to do that would maybe you could type in gloves because there are already actions in here that could look like, so you could maybe do where, nothing. Maybe I'm searching in the wrong place. Let me look for it under all actions. Okay, so gloves. Hold an item will be another way to. So
Huh?
yeah, so you can pretty much just find a way to, and that leads us to props as well. So props, now you can have your own props. You can bring in your own props into Vyond, which you couldn't do before. So props are, how else can I describe props? Props are pretty much just items that you can use inside of Vyond. So we have shapes, hand gestures, effects, animals. But I think under shapes, there's about 286 props that you can borrow from. So let's look for gloves. For example, gloves will be a kind of prop, and that's different kinds of gloves. So you have your medical gloves, you have your baseball gloves and others. But since we're talking medical here, let's just use one of those. So maybe let's just assume this is one glove and she's maybe holding it. Yeah, you just kind of have to get creative with when using a program like this. So let's say she has a one glove on and maybe you're looking for something more specific. So is there a prop that you think won't be here that I can type in and find? And if we don't find it, then we can try to generate it.
Saxophone.
Saxophone.
Hey,
Yeah.
look at that.
Oh, okay. Let's look for a silver saxophone since they have the gold one, right? All right. So there's nothing like that, right? So let's try to generate our own props. So now we're searching. It's searching all of the internet for silver saxophone, which it's found a couple and it's converting them into props. which wasn't possible before. So all of this has been powered by AI. So now it's got some options for silver saxophone. I think just 4 options, but it's still not bad. Like if you really have to have a silver saxophone, then you may just have to make do with one of these, or maybe even this. Yeah, that's close enough, right? Yeah. Or another way would be to just maybe search for that saxophone and just change the color to silver, which you can do. I'm not seeing that option now, but normally you'll be able to at least change the color of your props into something else. But yeah, it's just one option that you have now, which you didn't. And as you create more inside of Vyond, you know learn to you start to appreciate having that option to create your own props inside of
This is a
Vyond.
whole different discussion, but if you just went out on the internet, if that went out on the internet for you to find images, I would think you would run into copyright or trademark or some sort of issues
Right.
about
Yeah.
reusing images without permission.
Yes, but it's been converted into vector shapes though. So it's not, I think the original form will be a photo and then it gets converted. And they may be pulling from Shutterstock, which they have an agreement with. So I wouldn't completely rule that
Right.
out. They may have an agreement with Shutterstock to get their images.
Okay, so can you
Yeah.
make the woman there, the cartoon woman there, play a tune on saxophone for us?
Oh yeah, yeah, you can. So I mean, again, maybe you can type in saxophone, and this is where prompt engineering really starts to make sense, because Vyond has been using prompt engineering for a while. We're pretty much trying to fetch a result, and we're typing in what it should look for because it's got all those results. And now you have to be creative and think, okay, what's next to a saxophone? What's more popular than a saxophone? Or you could just say hold an item and 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 um yeah, I'm trying to think what's closest to. We couldn't fit a saxophone in the hand, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, you just have to be, yeah, you know.
Have her hand move up and down.
Say that again?
Then you could have her hand move up and down.
Right, right. Yeah, we could look for something else. Maybe, I don't know. There are, yeah, that's a little better, right? And maybe yeah, she could even do walking, and so that way you can just group the item together and just give it a motion path that's going left, and then you can just play that. But yeah, it's really just easy to build things.
Yeah, that is amazingly smooth animation.
Exactly. Like this would normally take you, with a program like After Effects, it would take you maybe days to just make that happen. And it's a lot of effort. It takes forever, exactly.
Right.
But Vyond makes it so much easier, and anyone can use Vyond. I think it's just working inside of it for as long as you can. And, that way you're getting better and knowing where all the prompts are. At some point, you're just reusing prompts that you used in the past. But let's move on to the next feature. Let me pull that file up again. So we've talked about generating custom actions. We've talked about generating your own props. Now, let's talk a little bit about the AI voices that are available to you. So you have 666 Well Said Lab, voices inside of Vyond, which means you don't need to have a well said labs license anymore. If you're creating videos and that's all you're doing, then you don't need to, subscribe the second time. You can just generate those voices inside of Vyond. And let me change this to a lighter background just so we can see her a little better. Maybe from bubbles, we could have her standing just a plain background. You know, anymore. Maybe she's not holding a saxophone anymore. You can just ungroup and delete. So maybe she's talking to somebody else, and you can just, Control C, Control V, and, copy and paste and switch to somebody else. Yeah, maybe she's talking to Sam or somebody else, and obviously we're looking at the scale as well. So these are two different styles. They're not the same style, which there's some, maybe let's use the same style of people. So maybe, he's facing, let's just say standing, and he's at least listening. There are options. When you right click, you see several options. You can replace that selected character with another one. You can copy, you can paste, you can crop, you can flip. So just have them facing the other way. Mirror, I think, does the same thing. Yeah, and you can even delete that character. So as far as talking, you would need some form of audio to make that happen. And so we're trying to generate audio here. Right? We're trying to generate that. We're trying to generate some AI voices. And one way to do that is to maybe go to ChatGPT and get some, let's just copy this text, for example, and bring it back to Vyond and have her say it. So the way you would do that is to go to sound and click on text to speech, which, you can just paste your text in there and make sure where there are multiple characters, you want to make sure you're selecting the right person to talk. And you choose the language. So you want them speaking English, United States English, and then you can choose, what type of, and there are different voices, right? So
Hi there, nice to meet you. Hi there, nice to meet you. We convert any written.
Hi there, nice to meet you. Hi there, nice to meet you. We convert any written text into
I
spoken words.
typically tend to go with
Try out
Jenny.
our different.
She sounds to be the most natural amongst them all. So it's Jenny for female and Matthew for male. So Matthew and Jenny are your best bet as far as, but that's just me though. And so you can also further customize it. You can change the tone. You can make it chatty, which
Hi there, nice to meet. Hi there, nice to meet.
I don't really see a difference.
Hi there, nice to meet you.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
something typically said in anger.
Hi there, nice to meet you.
Yeah. So it's, and we're still at the beginning stages of AI, if you believe it. There's still like so much, and that's another case for it, right? Like, why shy away from something that you don't really have control over? If you want to type on LinkedIn, it's available to you now. If you want to, pretty much anything. And so the better we get at and I think the best argument that I've heard for AI is just, maybe it lets us focus less on things that are not so important and start to think about other things, right? So you can take that
Oh,
vacation because now you're working faster than you normally would.
yeah, true. Although this is truly amazing, is there any way to put an entire script in here? So rather
Yeah.
than having to go paragraph at a time, is it smart enough to read a script and know that Jill is saying this and Bill is saying that? And
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
looks like we
We're
have
going to get to that.
question.
We're going to get to Vyond Go, which is the AI tool that's been touted by Vyond. We'll do a bit of demonstration about that in a second.
okay, you are
Uh,
welcome for the segue.
right. So
Good
let's
job.
just sorry, Susan, did you say
No, I
something?
said, good job, John.
Yeah, so when you hit generate, it just generates that voice and just syncs it to the character. And so let's have her maybe facing forward and maybe larger so we can actually see lip movement. So yeah, let's just preview.
Explore the dynamic in e-learning through this workshop designed for developers seeking innovative ideas.
Not sure what's going on there.
Explore the dynamic world of animation in e-learning through this workshop designed for developers seeking innovative ideas. Delve into creative approaches.
Right. So it's pretty neat, right? You're not, and if we change the character to maybe one that's business friendly, we can also just see the difference between, I like this one because it's more.
Explore the dynamic world of animation in e-learning through this workshop designed for developers seeking innovative ideas. Delve into creative approaches to.
Right. But you don't want to have your character just standing there for more than 5 seconds. You have to switch things up, vary the scenes, do some camera movements just to make it feel more natural and not keep your audience in one spot. Just, if they feel trapped when you do that. So let's say she's talking about this guy, right? And so one way to add more dynamism to your scene will be to add camera movement, which you can adjust when that starts down here. And you can, so this is a second camera here, and you can take that to him. So the main camera just kind of shrinks down into the subject, and then it continues. So let me delete this and do a continuous scene after that. So we'll see what happens now.
Explore the dynamic world of animation in e-learning through this workshop designed for developers seeking innovative.
So you kind of see how that may or may not help. And you can start it from the beginning, but transition happens too quickly. It's not. I think that's where. So you have to be kind of subtle anytime you're animating something like this. And maybe here is another opportunity to change her pose. So maybe have her do something else by the time it gets to that second scene. So maybe she's just presenting at that point. You type in presenting and, have her hold her hand out. So.
Explore the dynamic world of animation in e-learning through this workshop designed for developers seeking innovative ideas.
Yeah. But we can talk about that in another class. For today, really just wanted to make sure that we get to Vyond Go, which is a way that's automatic. So Vyond Go really was designed for instances where you want to churn out a lot of videos in very little time, or maybe you have your scripts, you're just trying to do something basic, right? Or maybe you're out of ideas and So you can either paste in a script or you can just have AI do it. And the way to get to Vyond Go is to go to create with AI. And let's just enter a prompt. So maybe, does someone have something they're very passionate about to talk about? Like, it could just be a sentence, like talk about.
Give files obvious names, meaningful. Give files meaningful names.
Give given files meaningful names. All right, let's see what, and so we can also get into some options, you know, who do you want to present it? Do you want to be in an office? You know, you can always change the characters. Do you want to be in a home, open office, construction? I think this might be the most appropriate. So well, maybe not healthcare, but well, healthcare kind of makes sense, right? So having different patient files. Do you agree, or should we just use an office?
Or maybe giving photos meaningful names would be
So photos, right?
there we go.
Yeah,
Yeah. So should we just use a creative person talking
Yeah,
about
there we
that?
go. Abstract.
All right. And you can choose the language. You can, you know, just like we did before, I think there. All right. So yeah, we just create this video and we sit back, you know, lights, camera, action, Vyond, it's working its magic in the background. And let's see. So it's generating a script, it's doing the animation.
Have you ever spent hours searching for a specific photo on your phone or computer? Let's talk about the importance of giving photos meaningful names. Did you know that on average, people take over 1.2 trillion photos each year? That's a lot of photos to keep track of. By giving your photos meaningful names, you can easily find them later. For example, instead of IMG_1234, name it Family Beach Day 2021. It's also a great way to organize your photos into albums. You can create albums for specific events or people and easily find them later. So, start giving your photos meaningful names today. It'll save you time and make it easier to find your favorite memories.
Any thoughts, comments?
And I'm assuming you can go in and edit this. There's
Yes.
a sentence in there I didn't want, or can you change the actual wording?
Oh yeah, you can. You can do that right here, or you can click on edit video to do any of that. Yes.
I think I'm frightened.
You shouldn't be at all. I mean, so I mean, this I have, you know, designed videos with Vyond for clients for years, and you know, this I would charge maybe $1,000 for this video right here.
Yeah,
Just
true.
saying, like.
Speaking of clients, to what
Right.
extent do you get feedback saying, well, we don't want cartoons, that cartoons are for children. We have adults here. We don't want cartoons.
It really depends on how you use it. So you know, there are cartoony options and there are options that are not so cartoony. I'm sorry, I exaggerated a little bit that it's not going to be up to 1,000, obviously, but there are things you can do to this one video that still makes it look like, I mean, that's, you know, there's still a lot of work that has to go into it. So if your client has a brand, you can still make it match the brand colors. You can introduce other characters, you can, you know, and there's a feedback process, which probably is going to take you like a month to get through. So everyone's coming up with ideas. You're spending all those hours making those changes. You know, you can still justify why
I have a compromise that works with it, using animation, because John, yeah, I had a boss that just hated it. Cartoons, it's, accounting isn't funny. So, but the compromise was to use a photo in the background, photorealism.
Right.
So if you were in a real office and then you notice less that the person was a cartoon.
Yes.
Mhm. So
Yes.
Sammy, are you able to do that? Use a photo as the background?
Yes, you can. So
Yeah.
that's why you have Shutterstock, which,
Yeah. Okay.
but in this case, it has, whoops, what is going on? You editing video in another browser. So maybe it's already open in another browser, which I don't see it open. So
You're a man of many tabs.
yeah. So it's right here. Just to edit anyways. And really, I think folks who don't like animation for corporate training, they probably have had a bad experience where, maybe an animator just, had people running around, or, overly expressive emotions where someone is angry and they're stomping their feet. Like that doesn't really happen, right? Like I've never seen anyone stomp their feet in a corporate setting when they're mad, even though that option is available to you. It's, I mean, there are cases where you use exaggeration in animation, but sometimes it's just too much, and it just gives it just takes away from reality and makes people disengage with your content. So just being subtle and being not trying to do too much. And that's why I showed that first example, which I thought was a good one for how you can use animation, not be too childish with it. Even this one, I think it had some notes, but there are opportunities as well where. Did you want to change something, John? I forget.
No, just idle curiosity.
Yes. Yes, you can change the text. You can, here's just go to settings and edit text however you want. You can change the camera movement. There's a lot of cameras in use. So I think each scene actually has 2 cameras, which is good. I mean, that kind of keeps things flowing nicely. And you can still jazz this up in so many ways. You can change the background color. You can switch it to anything you want. Yeah, but it's a really neat tool. I'm wondering, does anyone have Vyond licenses? Is anyone looking to try any of these skills out?
What is the cost?
So Vyond costs about $1,000 for a professional license. So that's
like 1,300 now, I think.
1,500 now. Yeah,
like 900. Last time I looked, I think that was the summer.
right. Yeah, but you can
Black Friday.
yes, you can do a job for one client and all that money's paid back. Yeah, but there's no guarantee though. So yeah, I think that's the tricky part. But you can always find what I tell clients if I don't have a license is, if I create it with my own license, there's no way for you to get the video or to edit it in the future. So why don't you make the purchase, and even if you pay for a month, I can do the video, and then you can stop payment. You don't have to keep it so you can do a month-to-month payment, if that makes sense. So, pay for a month, work on your video, and just continue your service, but it still keeps your account and your video is intact until you need them. So yeah, it really depends on how you use it, how you wish to use it.
Yeah, month by month would make a lot of sense for an external consultant.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, any other questions? I know we're running out of time. We only have about a minute left.
Is Shutterstock built into this? Is that by default or is that a separate license?
Yes, it's by default. So
Oh,
you
how
can,
nice.
but I'm just not sure. I don't think you can export like a photo, for example.
Is visiting LinkedIn.
Sorry, say that again. Did someone say something?
No, I was gonna share something that I couldn't,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it as far as what's new and beyond. But they're always innovating, though. You can always find out the new content right here. So this is the product release page, product.vyond.com. Here's all the features that's been released for November. You know, Thanksgiving templates, which you can use. In October was when they had that custom actions and Shutterstock. So it's all very current, and they keep adding new stuff. So I'm just curious to see what they add next. Yeah. That's it.
Okay. Thank you,
Thanks
Samuel.
for hanging out with us at ATD Fort Worth, and hopefully see you in December at our Christmas party.
Well, I hope you can join me tomorrow night.
Yes, I'll be there. You want
Okay,
to tell everyone about your workshop? Here's a chance.
Sure. It's something I do every month. This next